Hello and welcome to this lesson. In this module, you'll learn about the most important numbers to track your diabetes reversal because it's very, very important to know how much you're progressing and which are the factors that contributed to this. We're not basing this process on faith or hope or anything else. This is a scientific approach, and we're basing everything we do on concrete, real numbers. So let's get started. You have to know the most important number to track, which you probably guessed by now is blood sugar. Blood sugar is the most important number to track. However, blood sugar is very changeable. It changes over time. It depends a lot on what you eat, whether you exercise or not, how much you slept on the previous night, and so on. But nevertheless, it's very important to keep your blood sugar measured every day and even a couple of times per day if possible. I would suggest actually to measure your blood sugar 3 times per day. Once in the morning before eating anything, once at noon before lunch, and once in the evening before dinner. Okay? So 3 times per day, and you have a better glimpse and a better perspective on how you're progressing and how you're doing. The recommended values, and when I say recommended, I mean healthy values, are between 70 and 110. That these values should be within this range at all times. The fasting blood sugar, which I told you earlier about, which is in the morning before eating anything, should be in the same range. That's how the diagnosis of diabetes or pre-diabetes is put. Okay, based on the fasting blood sugar, they measure your blood sugar in the morning for a couple of times, 2 3 times, and if it's consecutively higher than usual, then they put the label of type 2 or diabetes on your health record. Okay, what you should know is that after meals your blood sugar may be a bit higher, especially if you're eating meals higher in carbohydrates, but it should never go above 150. Okay, if it goes above 150, then you should know that your insulin sensitivity is damaged to a certain degree. Okay, the best advice I can give you is that you should become your own scientist and test your blood sugar depending on various factors that you're implementing in your life. Obviously, this course will tell you which habits lower blood sugar and which don't, but to prove this experience to you, you should become your own scientist and test your blood sugar after every meal to see exactly how it influences you, and you get a more visceral experience of how this works. Okay. Another thing that I haven't written here is that your blood sugar might also get up in the morning. It might be abnormally high. This is called the dawn phenomenon, and it happens when your body is exposed to various stress factors that it cannot cope with. But we'll talk more about it in the nutrition module. Okay. The second most important number to track is your hemoglobin, more specifically the hemoglobin A1C. This represents the long-term blood sugar numbers, which represents your monthly progress. Okay, the recommended values here are under 6, ideally 5.6 or even under. If you can achieve even under, that's even better. But in the moment that you achieve 6 and under, you can like tell yourself that you basically reversed your diabetes, given that you'll also continue with the habits that got you there, of course. Afterwards, there are some other useful numbers to track, such as C-reactive protein, which measures the degree of chronic inflammation in your body. There's also creatine and albumin, which measure the effectiveness and the rate of filtering of your kidneys, which are affected if your diabetes is advanced. But these numbers are important only if your condition is very advanced. And even then, these numbers are completely optional. So you don't really need to clutter your mind with these numbers also. Okay, so what should you do now? I highly recommend that you measure your numbers now before starting the program. This is important to get a baseline from which you started and to see and feel that this program truly works and that your efforts aren't in vain. It's very important to track numbers and get a performance based evaluation and not relying just on hope, faith, or anything else. Okay, so I'm just putting myself out there on the line and telling you that you should measure this program and you should see for yourself that it does work. This also has a very important psychological component. Progress will motivate you very much to take even more action and to implement even more healthy habits into your life once you see that these work. Obviously, granted that you will measure your blood sugar also during the program, like I suggested. Okay, like in the morning, in the noon, and in the afternoon, before lunch and before dinner. Last but not least, you should keep yourself accountable by measuring your numbers. So it's far more powerful to see your numbers get higher if you don't keep yourself accountable to those habits that keep your blood sugar low. Okay, so if you don't do the required actions you need to take to reverse your diabetes, you'll see for yourself that your blood sugar will go higher. So this has another very important motivational, or so to speak, or psychological factor. And that's why, again, I highly recommend to measure your numbers now before starting the program. This means tracking your blood sugar levels 3 times per day for at least 2 days, and tracking your hemoglobin. Okay, the specific type of hemoglobin that I told you about. If you track these two numbers, you get a great start for this program, and you have a baseline which you'll surely beat, so to speak. So you'll have lower numbers after maybe even 1 week into this program. That I can guarantee. Okay, so go ahead, measure your numbers now or as soon as possible in the following days, and then we can continue with the rest of the program.